So my first experience with the Demasoni was when it started up here on the market, and that was 1994. I purchased a wild single male, and after that I was hooked, and I got animals from Florida, Leif Demasoni, and I also got from a breeder here in Sweden who had bought the first wild group, a fantastic group that produced fantastic offspring. And since that it's been ongoing, so I think I have quite an experience to put some weight behind the words that I will try to deliver to you today. Many people who purchase these fishes have failures, and the reputation of the Demasoni is that it's a very complicated, troublesome and sensitive fish. And that's why I make this video, to prove that it is actually the opposite. But you need to stick to a few certain rules and never abandon them. So the first consideration should be your aquarium and the setup. Many people think that aggression can be limited by having a lot of rocks, a lot of places for the Demasoni to hide from each other. That couldn't be more false. The setup should be the actual opposite. You should have very few points where they can take territory. You should have an open aquarium so that a strong individual can overlook and herd the group. And in that way, you will limit aggressions and you will stop them before they become damaging or stressing to the individuals. So the most valid and most important thing is to limit aggression and stress. And you do so by selecting a very dominant, strong individual. You need to look for character. And that individual will herd the flock. So basically you should have, if you have a lot of individual mixed sexes, you should pick out a strong male that is way stronger and bigger than the others, so that there is no confusion about who is the leader. So an optimal scenario would be an open aquarium where a strong individual, a leader, can have an overlook and see everything that happens and be there like a police and prevent when a conflict occurs. The key point here is to avoid stress, as the Demasoni otherwise, if you have many males and they will take individual territories, and then the sad individuals that are in between, often the females, will be chased from territory to territory and even be chased like they are very, very hectic when they chase, if allowed. So that one is what you need to avoid. The stress leads to problems. So if you follow the principle of having a strong alpha and a high ratio of females, open aquarium, you will get harmony in your group. That means very little stress. Yes, aggression can occur, but then just by the presence of the male coming by, just like a police, will very swift stop the aggression, and nothing will happen that will stress the individuals, and no individual weak will be chased by all the others, and therefore in the end may end up with a very feared thing with Demasoni, and that disease is the bloat. So besides stress, or the combination of stress and the wrong food source, is a guaranteed recipe for failure, a guaranteed for upcoming of the bloat. And what people don't understand is that the Demasoni, it has an extremely sensitive digestive system. You can compare them to the Tanganyicas, the tropheus of the Tanganyika lake. And what you need to do is feed them plant-based protein source. So if you do that and you don't overfeed them, they will never have these issues in their digestive system that is catastrophic for them. So now we have touched the aquarium setup. Open aquarium, very easy for the alpha male to overview and overlook the group and dampen all the aggression. So rule number 2 is the setup of the group. A strong leader, 80% females under him, 20% subdominant males. Third rule, plant-based source of food, no animal proteins. Stick to the food that works, don't change. Keep it simple. So the fourth major rule is water changes, and they should be even, no less, no more than 20% a week. And just like the Tropheus of Lake Tanganyika, these fishes are very sensitive to chemicals, especially and particularly chlorine. So if you have a charcoal filter to rinse your water through, it's a very good benefit. And on the subject with fresh water, also a very good benefit with plant-based sources is that they don't yield bacteria as animal protein sourced food does. So many people, the most mistake people do is to overfeed, and that will give a lot of fees, and that will give spikes in the water of bacteria. And you are a little bit more forgiven if you do that mistake, but you use a plant-based source. So that's a very important note. Lastly, I want to cover some consideration to this fish and the status of this fish from the hobby. The Demasoni has never been a dense fish in the wild. Actually, they are very hard and they're long between. They are hard to catch, basically. And in the beginning, in the 90s, when they came, they were very strong individuals. Today, if you can get a wild one, they are small and they are weaker. So us as a hobby has contributed to taking out the strongest species and change the evolution, go against nature. And actually in Pombo and Ndumbi, they're almost wiped out today, and they are listed by CITES. Now there's rumors of a third point in between that should have a little population left. But I urge you, unless you're a professional and have the aim to really bring out good offspring after wild animals and you know how to do it, never buy wildcaught or ask for that, because in the Europe the one importers, they don't care, and in Africa they don't care at all. It's about money, and from their perspective I understand, but from the importer in Europe and other places, it's all profit. Don't support that, because that will be the end of this animal for real.